Hello, everybody, and welcome to day two. I'm so excited that you are here. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first day and if you haven't gotten your workbook, please let me know in the comments and I'll send you the link. I'm Lynette M. Bradshaw, and I am the author of Compare Me Not. And that's what this, oh, sorry. Excuse me. My nerves got a little caught in my throat. Sorry about that. But this challenge is based on my best-selling book, Compare Me Not. And today we are on day two. Yesterday we talked about awareness of those things that cause you to compare yourself. So if you are joining me tonight, I'm delighted that you decided to come back and be here with me. And we're going to go through today's lesson on uncover your unique strengths. I want to let you know that Compare Me Not is a personal journey of mine. Of course, I wrote the book, but it is deeply personal for me because I struggled with comparison for many years. Even as I started this video, I was fine. And then all of a sudden, my nerves got in my throat and I could not talk. Things like that would normally have thrown me off, and I would be off the rest of this training. But I gave myself permission to believe in myself today, to step into the confidence and knowing that I have a message that is going to help someone. That's one of the things that I've had to learn to do in order to overcome comparison, right? Because many of us don't even acknowledge that we struggle with comparison, but we struggle with jealousy and we struggle with envy. And, we talk about people in a negative way when we see them achieving the goals that perhaps we want to, earn on our own. And Compare Me Not is about going on a journey to understand, why do you compare and how did you get here? So yesterday when we talked about awareness, that was a huge step because you started off your morning in your workbook being aware of those things that normally cause you to look at somebody else and measure yourself by them. And we learned also that when you do that, you silence your confidence. And Compare Me Not is about helping you to nurture and build your confidence by taking you through different assessments, different coaching questions. This book is not just about me. This book is a tool for you to use to be able to identify those different footprints. We call those footprints, they're experiences in our life that brought us to that place where we began to measure ourselves by someone else's ruler. And so that's what we're here for tonight. For these next 4 days, I'm going to come for just a few minutes each day, and we're going to go over the theme of the day. And then you'll have some different prompts in your workbook for you to work on your own. But I'm going to talk about the first prompt of the day, right? Because in the mornings is when we wake up, we have, this autopilot of thoughts and feelings that come through. But yesterday in an awareness, it was to help you to be able to capture those things and really begin that journey of change. Before we can change anything, right? We have to be aware of it and we have to acknowledge it. So instead of looking at someone else to compare yourself, Compare Me Not helps you to change your language. It helps you to change your mindset. And you can begin to tell yourself, compare me not. One of the things that I've learned to say to myself is that I am her. Whatever I thought I could look across the room and compare myself to, I am her. That's changing my mind and changing my views of myself to know that I don't have to compare myself to anybody. All right. So as we get started, again, if you haven't gotten your workbook, that's the only reason you would need to sign up for this challenge is for the workbook. Thank you so much for coming in. Go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know where you're watching me from so I can call you out and talk and say hello to you. Now let's slow down a little bit. Let's get rid of the nerves. Let's change the energy of the room, right? This is one of the areas in my journey where I struggled with comparison because I would see other business owners, other authors, other people just wanting to be on live. And I would see how casual they were, how normal, how comfortable they were. And I compared myself. And when I showed up online, I could stand in a room and I could stand in the front of a room and speak and teach a lesson or share something. But when I turned on the camera, my mind immediately went to how comfortable they were. And just like anything else, in order to change it, you have to step into the fear, step into the nerves, your heart rate speeds up. You got to step into those things in order to change them. So that's what we're doing tonight. Because like I told you, before I hit go live, I was fine. So that means that there is something amazing that's about to come out tonight that I'm going to share with you that's going to change both of our lives. So let's get started. All right. So today we are talking about uncovering your unique strengths. And in your workbook, you'll find that that's the first assignment for you to do today. Now, how many of you believe that when you start thinking about what are your strengths, what are those great things about you, it's not always easy to speak those things or write those things. It's a lot easier for us to talk about what's not good about us, what we don't like about ourselves. And those are also those things that come up when we find ourselves comparing or feeling jealous or envious of someone else's life, even though we may just only see the highlight reel. Because of those things that we have let come to the forefront that we don't like about ourselves, that's one of the triggers that causes us to compare ourselves to other people. That is one of the things for me, again, because I don't want you to think that just because I'm sitting here in front of you and I wrote this book and I'm leading this challenge that I don't struggle with that anymore. Comparison will always be there, but you get to decide, am I going to allow that to control me? What am I going to do when those triggers happen, when those things that normally make me feel a certain way or make me look outside of myself to compare myself to somebody else? What am I going to do different? One of those things you're going to do is begin to acknowledge what are your unique strengths. What do you like about your character? What do you like about you physically, emotionally, mentally, professionally, personally? What are those things that you like? And because many of us struggle with being able to identify those things, I want you to do what I did. And I've done it periodically. What I did recently, well, in the last year, is I had 3 women that I trust, and I trust that they're going to tell me the truth. And I asked them, what do you see in me that I don't see? What is it? I was asking them to help me identify how they experience me. You have to be very vulnerable in asking someone that question. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important for it to be someone you trust. You trust that they're going to be honest with you. They're not going to be a yes girl and tell you what you want to hear, but they're going to be honest with you. What do you like about me? How do you experience me? And I took those things that they said to me. First, I was in awe of the things that they shared with me, and each of them were different. But when you can't understand or can't see in yourself good, great, extraordinary, then you can be the person who steps forward and asks those people in your circle that you trust, how do you experience me? Because the truth is that many people see good and the negative in us sometimes before we see it. And you have to be open to receiving the responses of people in order to take in what they're saying. So when you think about your unique strengths, it's like you're taking inventory of yourself, not in a judgmental way and not to beat yourself up, but an honest assessment of what do you like about yourself. We take the little things, what we call little, and we don't really pay attention to it. Sometimes we're so good at something that we don't see it as valuable, but the people around us see it as valuable. When you begin to compare yourself to other people, you dim all of that about yourself, and you don't show up as bold as you are meant to. because you are measuring yourself by something and someone that you will never be able to measure up to because you were not meant to. I know what it feels like to want to do something and want to be somebody, but inside you're having these internal conversations that tell you there ain't no way. There ain't no way that you're going to be able to do that. There ain't no way, because of your past, your story, that you'll be able to step forward and do that. There are a lot of things that go through our mind daily. And just like yesterday, when you became aware of those things, today you can put into place the tools that you can use when those thoughts replay, when those memories come up, when those footprints of your life begin to raise up and talk to you and tell you what you are not. Going through this exercise helps you to remind yourself of who you are, regardless of anything else. And I'm just going to tell you this: I would not be here in this seat. I would not have written 10 books. I wouldn't have written the first book if it was not for me leaning on God and allowing Him to show me who He created in me. And even in my business, when I first started my business and I was sharing my journey and sharing my story, there were people who told me, well, you can't talk about God. You can't, put business and God together. And I went with that for so long, trying to do what I saw other people doing as business owners, as writers. And along that journey, that's not me being authentic. That's not me telling you, oh, you have to believe what I'm believing. But in order for me to share my story, to share my uniqueness, to tell you about every book I wrote, every journal that I printed, I got to tell you how I got here. So where in your story of self are you denying who you are because it won't be accepted? And those things you allow to come to the forefront because you're trying to hide them, so nobody really can see that part. They can't really see the uniqueness about you because you're hiding it. You are allowing the negative areas in your life to step forward. So when it's time for you to be your confident self, you can't do that. Right? You can't step forward in confidence. You can't step forward and teach. You can't step forward and give a word to somebody. You can't step forward and encourage and empower somebody else because you haven't tagged those negative things as being the thing that's leading you. But they lead you unconsciously, because when you step into a room where you see women standing in their greatness, they're on the stage teaching, they're writing, they are helping other women to do some of the same things that you are meant to do in your own lane, but you can't do that. So what are we going to do when those moments happen where we know we are meant to be in the room, right? You are meant to write this book and you are meant to tell people about your journey, your story. You are meant to encourage. You are meant to be the one who walks down the street who just gives a gentle smile to the next person. And you don't have to be afraid if they accept it. You are meant to do those things. What I'm wanting you to understand is that the things that cause you to look at other people as greater than yourself is not just about your personal life. It's about your business, your personal, your spiritual, your emotional, your financial life. It all goes together. You can try and separate them, as I did in the beginning, and separate my faith from business, but that is not your unique self. You are meant to show up as your unique self. All right? In my master class on November the 5th, we're going to go more into detail about being aware and how do you be able to assess those things and be able to create a roadmap for yourself to build and nurture your confidence. But I'm going to tell you guys more about that on tomorrow. All right. So again, if you have not downloaded your 5-day workbook, it's 27 pages. All you have to do is sign up and the workbook will come to you, because tonight we're just going to talk about the first prompt. And that was, the things that you like about yourself, those unique things. But you'll have additional prompts and exercises within the workbook. All right, let's see here. All right. So on today, day 2, your assignment for your morning check-in, if it's evening, but you can still do it. You're going to begin your day by writing down 5 things that you like about you love about you. It can, like I said before, it can be, you're resilient, you're strong, you're quick to forgive, and you are a kind person. You are a go-getter. You have the ability to learn quickly. What are those 5 things that you can write down about yourself? And again, if you aren't able right now to be able to identify those things in yourself, then you find those people, 1 or 2 people that you really know that they're going to speak the truth and love to you, that they are really going to help you to see what you may not be able to see in yourself, and you're going to write those down in your journal. If you're able to easily connect with other people, that's a great trait to have. Everyone can't do that. But because you've allowed the negative things that you don't like about yourself right now to overshadow those things, sometimes we need other people to help us pull those things out of ourselves. This is about feeling the fear, feeling the change in our breath because we're starting to feel anxious because we are addressing some things and we're being vulnerable and asking someone who is a safe place for us to tell us something good about ourselves. Why is it uncomfortable? Because when you allow the negative things to be in the forefront for so long, now you're using a muscle of your heart and your mind that you're not used to. Those places are uncomfortable. They bring up fear. They bring up all the things that the thoughts that come back into your mind when you begin to encourage yourself and believe in yourself and speak differently about yourself. And the only way to overcome those things is to turn the knob and walk through the door. That's the only way that you're going to be able to face that fear. I'm facing my fear. I'm sitting here with you on this live. Every time I do it, I get stronger. I get more confident. And that's what you're going to do also. Now, after you write those 5 things down, and I know you have 5 things that you can say that you like about yourself, about your character, about you as a whole, whatever area it is for you. Now, you're going to build your toolkit. Your toolkit, one of those things is making this list. There are other things that you can do also. We're going to talk about that in the masterclass on November the 5th. But for today, you've written those things down. Now, what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? Are you going to just put them in a drawer somewhere, or you're going to hear them and not take it in? After you write those things down, you're going to create, put it on a sticky note is one of the things you can do. And you're going to put those things on your mirror. You're going to put those 5 things on your computer. You're going to even stick them in your car somewhere where you can see them easily, where it won't fall off, of course. And when you feel those old feelings or those thoughts or emotions or situations that would normally cause you to compare yourself and diminish your confidence, you're going to say those things to yourself. You're going to put an I am in the front of those things and begin to say those things to yourself. When you feel like that person that comes into the room that has this energy where she knows she's supposed to be there, she owns it, she walks in her genius, but when she comes around you, some kind of way you get small. You begin to get small because you have measured yourself by her, not so much as her as the person, but who she represents, her energy, her boldness, even how people respond to her. But today, as you write down those 5 things, you're taking your eyes off of whomever that may be for you. You are silencing the thoughts that come and tell you that somehow you are not enough because you don't have all that. You got it, but it's in your language. It's in your energy. It's in your personality. You are her, and you already have it. All right. So when you begin to reframe your thoughts and use those things that normally would silence you, thank you so much for coming in. Leave me a comment so I can know who you are. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. These are the tools that you're putting in your kit so that you can begin to shift from measuring by anyone else's means and begin to measure yourself by what you bring to the table. Who are you when you step into the room? What are your confidants telling you about how they experience you? What do they see in you that you may not see about yourself? And you're going to put those all over your home, all in your car. You're going to put it on a voice note if you need to, so you can remind yourself. You're going to rewrite over your thoughts, your emotions, those situations, and you're going to begin to see yourself differently because you're going to speak to yourself differently. You've identified those things that are amazing about you. When you smile, your smile lights up a room. You can write one of those things. I love my smile. I love that I can be a safe place for somebody. I love that I can bounce back fast. I love that I can keep going, that I never give up on myself, even when I don't know how. Those are the things that you're going to begin to tell yourself because now you got some things in your toolkit. All right. So as you go through this exercise, continue to work through day 2 and begin to detox. I'll leave you with this. We talked about a detox is what you do when you're wanting to clean your system to prepare it for something new. You are detoxing today. You are detoxing from the negative things you think about yourself, the negative thoughts that are just automatic that come into your head before you are really awake in the mornings. And you are shifting it. You're detoxing. You're cleaning it up so that you have room to be able to pour in what's going to help you to be more confident in yourself instead of comparing yourself to other people. All right. Let me know in the comments, what are you hearing today for yourself? What, out of everything that I've said and out of everything that I have you've seen in your workbook, what are you hearing now? What are you seeing about yourself? What changes are beginning to occur because you're going through this detox? And we know that when we go through a natural detox, our bodies let us know that it's detoxing, right? Our bodies begin to release and we begin to feel light, and we don't feel the heaviness that we once felt because we were eating a certain way or we wasn't getting enough rest or whatever you're detoxing from. You're in day 2 of your detox and you should be able to start feeling a little lighter and seeing things a little different, but only if you do the work. All right. So thank you so much for being here with me for day 2. I pushed through the fear today. What door are you pushing through that's standing there and says you can't come here because it causes too much fear? Push through the door and begin to change your life and nurture your confidence. So tomorrow I'm going to tell you more about the upcoming masterclass on November the 5th and give you more details about that. So you can join me in that class where we can go into more depth on coming from comparison into confidence. All right. Oh God, I'm so excited. I broke through fear today, and I'm sure that you did too. So until next time, I am Lynette M. Bradshaw. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow on day 3.